Typically, the Marshall Project's and use closing contention pamphlet, a week-after-week profound plunge into a key criminal equity issue. Need this conveyed to your inbox? Subscribe to future pamphlets here that you've likely listened to part around wrongdoing as of late, with the midterm decisions right around the corner. It's been a major point of campaign talk and included in a cacophony of regularly diluting advertisements. More Americans than ever presently accept that wrongdoing is up in their community, concurring to a later Gallup poll, but is wrongdoing going up? The reply isn't straightforward, and it loans itself effortlessly to control. Composing at the discussion, criminologist Justin Nix reminds us to keep three questions in intellect. What are we cruel by wrongdoing? What period of time are we comparing it to? What area are we talking around? Depending on how you select those factors, it's conceivable to induce fiercely unique answers almost what is happening to crime for case. In Atlanta, from 2020 to 2021, the number of murders went up by 3%, concurring to the Atlanta Police Office. But in the event that we expand the comparison to 2019, sometime recently the widespread murders are up by 65%. However, compared to 1990, murders in Atlanta are down by 32%, in spite of consistent populous development. The city's kill add up to in 2021 was generally the same as the yearly counts within the early 2000s nationally. What we know from both FBI information detailed by police and from a yearly government overview that inquires almost 240,000 individuals whether they buy were casualties of wrongdoing, is that rough and property violations have both been on an unfaltering decrease since the early 1990s. Murders did increment at an upsetting and sensational rate nationwide in 2020 and have remained hoisted, but kill is the slightest common frame of rough wrongdoing. Generally, savage wrongdoing has remained generally inactive since 2010, taking after decades of decay. Open discernment doesn't line up well with reality, and hasn't for very few time that it's by and large genuine within the media that terrible things like wrongdoing are considered more newsworthy than the need of awful things. So in case wrongdoing goes up in a few places, remains level in a few, and goes down in others, the increase is likely to induce more news scope. And when those increments get detailed by national outlets, it can offer assistance make a wide impression that wrongdoing is up everywhere. Jonathan Simon, a criminal equity law teacher at the College of California, Berkeley School of Law, told us, the higher up you go from the city and county level, the more wrongdoing gets to be a devil and deliberation that's much simpler to sort of make an ethical freeze around. Interestingly, when surveyors inquire individuals on the off chance that wrongdoing is getting way better or more awful in their zone, the party in control of the White House appears to matter an incredible bargain. Democrats were more likely than Republicans to accept wrongdoing was getting more regrettable all through the Bush and Trump administrations, whereas the numbers flip-flopped amid the Obama and Biden a long time. Megan Brennan, a senior inquirer about specialist at Gallup, said that fanatic polarization on wrongdoing and most other issues has been expanding since the turn of the century. After the reviving impact from 9/11 wore off, individuals begun going more to their political corners. Brennan told the Marshall Project, when surveyors inquire individuals how much they stress around wrongdoing, instead of inquiring in the event that wrongdoing is really up or down, the divided scene looks a bit distinctive. From 2000 through 2015, Democrats dependably detailed more concern almost wrongdoing than Republicans. Republican concern approximately wrongdoing spiked discernibly after 2015 and once more after 2020. 2 minutes when Dark Lives Matter challenges ruled the news. Simon said that's likely not a coincidence. Again and once more in our present-day history, at whatever point we've had any serious efforts at racial social equity developments, it's nearly unyieldingly driven to a correctional backlash, indicating to remaking after the respectful war and the gracious rights development of the 1950s and 60s as other cases. Open concern approximately wrongdoing doesn't essentially interpret into a want for a correctional reaction, like harder sentencing laws, but it frequently does. That was genuine for both political parties within the 1980s and 90s, and it has been particularly genuine of Republican talk in later a long time. Republicans appreciate a wide advantage over Democrats in terms of which party most voters believe to bargain with crime. But this reality is additionally complicated by race black voters, who vote for Democrats almost 90% of the time in national races, are much more likely to say that savage wrongdoing is critical to their midterm vote than white or Hispanic voters, agreeing to investigate from seat. Within the survey, 81% of dark voters communicated concern around rough wrongdoing, a rate higher than preservationist Republicans, 77%. But surveying, moreover, appears that dark Americans see criminal equity change as a need and are much less trusting of the criminal equity framework and police than white Americans. That raises questions as to whether Republican calls for rolling back changes and grasping more tough-on-crime approaches will interface with numerous dark voters, who to a great extent see the GOP as bigoted against them. In places like Chicago, for case, determined wrongdoing and financial stagnation have cleared out a few dark inhabitants cynical around either party's capacity or will to form advance on these issues. Neither politician, Republican or Democrat, speaks to the interface of the dark people. Anthony Youthful, a 26-year-old dark man, told the Divider Road Diary.